Alright, this week I've been building a fence around the veggie patch in order to keep the chickens and the wind out. And whilst I was doing it, it's a lot of work, and I started to think, as we all do, is it worth it?
I often find myself asking that question, is it worth it? Is whatever I'm doing worth the investment of time? We all want to live a freer life, to spend more time doing what we love and less doing what we don't. But to figure out how to live that way, we first have to look closer at the idea of worth itself. When we think of worth, the first thing that comes to mind is usually money, economic worth. It's easy to measure, easy to calculate, and it has a number. Happiness or fulfillment are harder. You can't attach a number to them. As I build this fence with massively oversized gate posts, I wonder, is it worth it? I wouldn't even need the fence if I didn't have chickens. And if I just bought food from the supermarket, I wouldn't need a veggie patch either. If I compare the inputs and outputs, the cost of seedlings and compost and seeds and chicken feed against, say, supermarket prices, then growing at home actually wins. It's cheaper. But that's before adding the cost of time. And this is where the real meaning of worth starts to show itself. If I paid myself even minimum wage for the hours spent here, there's no way I could match the efficiency of a global mechanized food system. And so from this perspective, is it worth it? For each of us, the answer is different. Some might value the taste of local organic food, others might care more about packaging or food miles or environmental cost. The equation keeps shifting. For me, I think it's simpler than that. I just like having my hands in the dirt. It's hard to explain. It gives me a sense of purpose. Maybe it's because, as humans, we have always grown our own food and built our own shelter. We didn't evolve to sit on a chair staring at a screen to earn money, to buy things wrapped in plastic. But this is a personal reflection. For others, the balance is different. For some, the idea of gardening sounds like work. For me, it's just a part of my life. Most of the work that sustains our lives is invisible. We drink coffee, but we never see the people who pick the beans. We order something online, but rarely see the ship that carries it across the ocean, or the fuel burned just to get it to our door. Every product we buy hides a trail of hands and machines and energy that we are disconnected from. When we make something for ourselves, we're confronted by the effort directly. The blisters, the time, sometimes the annoyance. But when we consume, that effort disappears. And the less we see the work, the easier it becomes to forget what things actually cost. Maybe that's why making things feels grounding, because it reconnects us to the chain of labour we've outsourced to the rest of the world. It reminds us that work isn't just a means to an end, it's part of what gives things their worth. The global system never shows its work, so we can keep buying without feeling. But feeling the effort is the point. That's what gives value its meaning. Is worth something that we can even measure at all? It's not in the hours or the yield or the savings. Can we really put a value on reading a book, playing an instrument, creating something artistic, something just for its own sake? The cost of consumption is easy to calculate. The value of creation isn't. I catch myself measuring my own worth through an economic lens. Perhaps we all do. But I'm starting to realise that this is the wrong tool for the job. Money can measure productivity, and it can measure output, but it can't see meaning. Every day we make small decisions about how to spend our time. Do we build a cupboard or buy it? Bake bread, raise chickens, grow food, repair clothes, or just buy what we need? We've been trained to measure that worth through money and efficiency. To ask which choice saves time or earns more of it back. To treat time itself as currency. I'm starting to think that that's the wrong kind of maths. When we let money define worth, we risk losing sight of what it means to live a good life. Worth can be found simply in the doing, in using our hands and our minds. It can also be found in learning.
These pathways were quite neat when I first put them in. But it turns out chickens love nothing more than getting wood chip and throwing it as far as they possibly can. It's alright. Now it's fenced off, at least I can tidy it up, knowing that the chickens won't come back in here and trash it again. I still find myself thinking that way, wondering if the project was worth the hours, if I should have just bought the thing instead, or paid for someone else to do it. But every time I build, grow, or repair something myself,
I feel like the worth added isn't in cash, it's in me. Sometimes it's a deep sense of satisfaction. Other times it's simply the feeling of learning something new. Perhaps it's really that simple, that these small pleasures are what time is for.
A couple of weeks ago, I made a video similar to this, but coming at it from a different angle about how the cheapest things can end up costing us the most. So if you want to keep going, I'll link to that one. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next week.